A strategic rollout is better. In this episode, I'm going to address a concern that many people have had. Biden wants to do away with Roth conversions. What can you do that's better? So, what do I know? I'm Doug Andrew. I've been a retirement planning specialist, a financial strategist now for more than 48 years. And so I've helped many people prepare for a comfortable retirement. I prefer that people use strategies that will allow them to accumulate their money tax-free, but also be able to access their money tax-free. And at the end of the day, when they ultimately pass away, anything they leave behind, I want it to blossom, increase in value, and transfer income tax-free to their heirs so that their spouse and their children can have the money that they would have provided had they stayed around longer, okay? Now, a lot of people think, well, are you talking about life insurance? Well, yes, but life insurance structured primarily as a living benefit, not a death benefit. It's amazing to me how many people, including financial advisors, do not understand this. And so we see people following the herd, and I'm going to share with you what I mean by that, putting money into traditional savings accounts for retirement, and then why certain things are introduced later, like Roths, but I've never owned an IRA or 401k, nor have I owned a Roth IRA or 401k. Because what I like is far better than those two. But this episode is going to address why President Biden is doing away with Roth conversions. And it doesn't bother me because I'm going to show you how to do something far better than a Roth conversion. You ready? So let's just make sure you understand what a Roth conversion is. Sometimes for business owners, their accountant might call this a backdoor Roth. Why? Well, there's a lot of people that would like to contribute money to a Roth that can't because they make too much money or what have you. But it was passed back in 1997. Now, I don't know if you remember what happened. In 1997, the government was hard up for tax revenue. And so Senator Roth said, I have an idea and we'll name it after me. He realized that many Americans were getting very smart. That instead of getting a tax break on the contribution that they made to an IRA or 401k, okay? I used to use a metaphor, the farmer and the seed. It would be like when a farmer bought their seed in the springtime that they're going to plant, they don't have to pay tax on the price of the seed. They plant it, they irrigate, they cultivate, and then in the fall of life, in harvest, okay, now they agree to pay tax on what they sell their harvest for. Now, that's a traditional IRA or 401k. You get a tax break on the seed money, but you agree to pay tax during the harvest because most people were told, oh, you'll likely be in a lower tax bracket when you retire. Folks, that has not been true or axiomatic for more than 30 years. The only people that I have found that are in lower tax brackets when they retire are those that didn't save very much. Why are people in as higher brackets? Well, they're killing their tax deductions as they go. In retirement, they usually don't have mortgage interest that they're paying. The kids are gone, or if they're not gone, if they move back in, you can't deduct them anymore. Most retirees are not contributing money to IRAs or 401ks. You don't have those deductions anymore. Business owners don't have those deductions anymore. And what has Congress been doing throughout the decades? Raising taxes. Okay, so most people agree that future taxes will likely be higher. And when they agree with me, I go, then why are you continuing to delay, postpone, procrastinate paying tax to some future perceived unknown advantage and then withdraw your money out of an IRA or 401k down the road when you're convinced the rate will be higher? That doesn't make sense. So Senator Roth said, people are getting smart. They would rather pay tax on the seed and enjoy the harvest without tax. So he introduced the Roth. Now, it was for the government's benefit. They were hard up for money. He said, if people will convert with a lump sum transfer, that will trigger tax revenue. And we will solve our revenue problems instead of waiting until they retire to start getting our tax revenue off of that, because Uncle Sam has always been a partner with you on your IRAs and 401ks. Uncle Sam has a permanent tax lien on those IRAs and 401ks. All Senator Roth said was, well, let's let them convert and we'll get tax revenue now. They will get the tax over with now, but we'll get the revenue now. It was primarily for the government, not for us. I'm not saying it wasn't a step in the right direction, but still there's too many strings attached. You can only put in a certain dollar amount, a certain percent of your income. If you make too much money, you can't own a Roth. And if you touch the money, in the first 5 years or before age 59 and a half, there's a 10% penalty. I don't want any of those strings attached. My favorite vehicle, called the Laser Fund, has the two benefits of a Roth. It accumulates tax-free and you can access money tax-free, but it has 4 additional benefits that Roths will never have. Now, before I go any further, if this is already intriguing you, before I connect the dots for you, I would recommend you subscribe to this channel, because I post an in-depth answer to a financial question just like this almost on a daily basis. This is free. Share, post a comment, click like, but most importantly, click the bell so you'll be notified every time I post a new educational video, which I do almost on a daily basis. And then stay with me to the end, because I want to gift you a copy of my most recent 300-page book, The Laser Fund: How to Diversify and Create the Foundation for a Tax-Free Retirement. And you'll see why this knocks the socks off of a Roth. But let's get back to what a Roth conversion does and why Biden is taking it away. So the backdoor Roth or Roth conversion meant that a lot of business owners who had a lot of money could take money out of an IRA, and through strategic planning, they could roll it out. And of course, it would trigger tax, but then it would be tax-free from that point forward, which helps the government in the short run. But sometimes the government likes these accounts where they can get tax revenue, like a savings bond, like getting a piece of everything you will earn for as long as you live. And so my take is that Biden wants to do away with Roth conversions because he feels like the wealthy are sort of taking advantage of this by getting the taxes over and done with sooner than later, which is what I've been recommending that taxpayers do for a long time. Get the taxes over with sooner than later. Don't postpone and take RMDs, required minimum distributions, and so forth. So I think what President Biden is wanting to do is to create predictable tax revenue, and he wants to take it away from business owners being allowed to do a backdoor Roth or a Roth conversion. Whatever the purpose is, hello? You don't even need to worry about that. Oh, shucky darn, I can't do a Roth conversion. Well, that doesn't mean you can't do a conversion to a laser fund, which has all the benefits of that Roth and 4 additional benefits. You want to hear those? As I said, a Roth you fund with after-tax dollars. It accumulates tax-free, and you can access the money tax-free. Those are the 2 benefits of a Roth, but there's a lot of strings attached. So the Laser Fund has those 2 benefits, has for over 108 years, protected in the Internal Revenue Code. But there are 4 additional benefits. I'm going to summarize them real quick here. The third big benefit here is that with the Laser Fund, I can contribute large amounts if I want. See, with a Roth, if you make too much money, you can't own one. Savvy CPAs call the Laser Fund the rich person's Roth, but you don't have to be rich to have one. You can set one up for $500 a month. If you're a business owner and you want to put in $300,000 a year, you don't have to, but you can. You can't do that much in a Roth, okay? You're restricted. You could put in $30,000 instead of $300,000. So you could have put in 300, you only put in 30, so you have 270,000 of room in this example. You can make up that room anytime you want. Anytime. Down the road. Catch up. You cannot catch up with a Roth or an IRA or 401k if you do not contribute the amount that you could have in a given year. Once that year is over, it's done. You cannot play catch up with that. With 457s, you can do some catch up and so forth, but not with a traditional IRA, 401k, or a Roth. So the Laser Fund gives you more flexibility. Now, let's say you put in $300,000 and a month later you needed to go grab 250,000 of that. You can with a laser fund. Okay, you cannot do that with a Roth without incurring a 10% penalty. There's no IRS penalties when you put money in to get out. I have many clients that have retired in their 30s. Okay, they struck it rich when they were young. They came up with an invention or whatever, and they are able to generate 8 to 10% payouts if they want at age 35 out of a laser fund, totally tax-free. You have to wait with a Roth. Now, what is the fifth benefit? It's called indexing. Now, indexing, in a nutshell, means that with a laser fund, your money is linked to whatever indices in the market, the S&P, the Dow Jones, you can diversify among several, so that if the market goes up, you get to benefit, and you'll be credited what the market did, maybe up to a cap, maybe no cap. But what this means is we've had many clients this year, I'm recording this in 2021, that have locked in gains of 25% this year, 32%, 61.33%, and more. But if the market crashes, which it does about every 3 to 7 years, you don't lose because your money is not at risk in the market. This is called indexing. And it's not an index mutual fund, it's indexing a strategy. So if this is intriguing you, I'm going to show you how you can learn more in the book I'm going to gift you. But you can use indexing to be able to benefit and outpace inflation versus having a Roth, which most Roths invested in the market are only earning about 3.5% to 4% at the end of the day, especially for retirees. Oh, what's the sixth and last benefit? With the laser fund, anything that's in there when I die blossoms and transfers tax-free. So for example, I'm 69. If I died tomorrow in an accident, every million I might have in a portfolio of laser funds would blossom to about 2.5 million and transfer tax-free to my wife, my kids, my grandkids. There's not a Roth around that will do that. So the point is this: why worry about what Biden is doing by eliminating Roth conversions when you can still convert to a laser fund, which will knock the socks off of a Roth? So don't cry about the Roth conversions being taken away. For Biden to take away the tax-free accumulation and access out of a laser fund would require major legislation that has been grandfathered, and some of the biggest lobbyists in Congress are the multi-trillion-dollar insurance companies, the industry, which is the backbone of America. This is where governments go to for help. It's a sacred cow. If this is intriguing you, let me show you what you can do. Go to laserfund.com. Click on the link below. And if you contribute a nominal amount toward the shipping and handling, I'll cover the rest of that, and I'll pay for the book. It retails for $20. I'll fire out a hard copy to you. There's also options in there for you to, if you like to listen and learn or watch and learn, what have you. But I want you to learn. This is actually 2 books. This side is 200 pages, the white covered side. And this has 14 chapters with all the charts and graphs and explanations. You'll see how this compares to a Roth and a lot of other traditional savings accounts like IRAs and 401ks, and why it's so much better. If you learn more by stories, you flip it over, you read this one. This is 12 chapters with 62 actual client stories. Why this far outperforms traditional IRAs and 401ks or Roth IRAs and 401ks. So click on the link below, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the other side.